Hey guys, welcome to my pinning stream. So I am at my parents' house still. I'm gonna be here off and on over the next few weeks, and I'm using it as my base of operations. So I have some quilts that need to be pinned, and this is where I do it and how I do it when I'm here. It's not as effective and it's not as fast as when I can use the family center by my house, but it's still better than anything I have in my house because I got a small house. So I'm going to take you through all the steps of pinning, how I pin my quilts, what I do, everything else. So first of all, let me get started with some music. And let's see, Spotify. Yeah, and you may hear talking and stuff in the background. That's because, I'm not by myself. All right, let's go. Hey, USA Chan, how are you today? I'm gonna put it there. All right. Step one. I'm gonna do this one first. This is one of my commission quilts. What I've done is after I cut the quilt out, I measured the backing out, and I've got the backing all cut, ready to go. So what I did is I have about 2 to 3 inches around, all the way around the quilt as an extra buffer. If you'll see an oddly shaped one in a little bit, and that one there's bigger buffer, but yeah, I'll show you what I mean. And I am doing fantastic. I have finally recovered from New York, caught up on my sleep, so I'm good. It's amazing how much New York can take out of you. You know, how much you're really tired and you're drained, and yeah. So it is, oh, and thank you for the house. I appreciate it. So yeah, so you've got your quilt done, you've got your backing done. Well, now you need to get your batting. So I buy my batting by the roll. And this is a brand new roll. Now I'm not using my actual fabric scissors. I'm using paper scissors to open this. Because I'm cutting plastic, I do not want to dull my fabric scissors. Fabric scissors are only for fabric. And I know I started a little bit early today. I was looking at the time and I'm like, oh, I have so much to do. There's no way I'm getting it done in 2 hours. So it was start a little early and run a little late, or do another stream tomorrow, which depending how far I get, I may still do another stream tomorrow. That's so loud. Let me turn it down a little bit. There we go. Now I'm being very careful as I'm cutting open my roll of batting, because I don't want to accidentally spear the batting. If I spear the batting, I could tear it, and then I'd have a nice hole in my batting, which I don't want. There we go. Now, if you buy your batting from a quilt store, this is what they're going to cut it off of. It's a nice big roll of batting. And any fabric packs, scrap packs that I'm going to be giving away while I'm here will probably include a little bit of this batting, because I've got, I'm going to have some scraps from it, so. Alright, let's cut some batting. So, after you've got your top done, you've got your back done. Now, you want to cut the length of your batting. Now, whenever I cut a strip of batting, I always want to use it for multiple quilts. So I like to lay mine out going this way. The next time I lay it out, I'll lay it out the other way so you can see how much space I'm giving it as I cut. I'm cutting it in times of beat, apparently. Yeah. There we go. Alright, so my backing is done. So now I'm going to set this aside. Now I can lay out 2 quilts at a time on this floor. So here's the backing for that quilt. So let's lay that one out. And here is the backing for the next quilt. So I'm going to lay the next quilt right there. It's just a panel quilt. It's a commission for my sister-in-law. She picked up a couple of cute panels online that she wanted. And I'm just turning them into panel quilts. And there's this one. There we go. Nice. I'm very glad that I laid the camera out so you can see both of them. Alright, so step one, actually before I started streaming I did. I went ahead and swept the entire floor to make sure that there's no dust, dirt, or hair on the floor already. The next step after you lay out the backing, you want to tape it. So, first thing I'm going to do is tape the corners. So I am using a wide painter's tape because I do not want it to damage the floors. Oh, I see someone has said something, but it's all the way over there, so I will check it in a minute. There we go. Oh, hey, honey. It's just my husband. I can ignore him. So, I take that side. So I want to take the ends first. So let's pull this baby out. Now you notice that there's some wrinkles in it. That is perfectly natural, and as you tape it, it will go away. So what I'm doing when I'm taping it is I'm taking the tape, with my knee so you can see better, and I'm putting it on the fabric and then pulling it just a little bit. So I'm making it taut just a little bit to pull out some of those wrinkles. And I realized I forgot to do the other end over there. Oh, that's okay, because I need to fix the other end too, because there's a big part over there. So what'll happen sometimes when you are taping the backing to the floor is you may have to readjust the tape. And I'm going to adjust that over there too. Whoops. And pulling it all off. Okay, let's readjust this. I'm having the problem of this tape is it sticking and staying as nicely as I would like it to. So I'm going to add more tape. Okay. Because it's really important that your... No, it's not old tape. It's really good painter's tape. So it's super important that you get it nice and tight. So the easier that tape is to come off, because these are wood floors. So I'm actually using an easier to come up tape than I normally do, because I do not want to damage these floors at all. And I'm sure that my mother appreciates that. Now, if you use regular masking tape and not painter's tape, it'll stick better. But then you may leave some kind of residue on the floors. So I'm just putting double layers on it. There we go. Okay, now I've got the tops and the bottoms done. Now I'm going to do left and right. Now, as you can see, the actual taping part does take a bit of time. And this is why I like to do the family center so much, because at the family center, they've got a nice big room that I can just lay out 6 to 8 quilts, do all the taping at the same time, do all of the batting at the same time, do all the pinning and all the cutting at the same time. So it actually saves me time and effort by doing it that way. And yes, I know my knee is on the fabric right here. That's fine, because the next step's going to take care of it. So if you step or kneel or anything on the fabric and you can't help it, it's fine. See, this is one of the reasons why I have at least... Where did you get those emotes from? That's cool. This is why it's important to have at least a 2 to 3 inch area around the center of the quilt. Huh. Or are those just regular emotes that you get for free? Because that is pretty cool. Oh, and as you can see, we've already gotten our first follow. So that means only 4 more follows. And then someone watching is going to get a fabric surprise. Oh, you know what that is? I bet that's from Josh OG. Okay, I finally have the backing all taped. Now, number one thing that I talk about all the time, whenever you are dealing with a quilt, you want to make sure that all of the dust, dirt, and hair is off of there. Especially in the binding area, because it's a sealed area that you can't really get to anymore. So that's going to be the same thing here. This is the backing. This is going to be, once we put the batting onto here, it's a sealed area. That batting was fresh. Nothing touched it until I put it on here and I had already swept and cleaned this floor. So the back side of the floor is fine. But this part's going to go inside the quilt. We have to make sure it's a good area. So we're going to use our handy dandy hair remover. And I'm just going to give the backing a nice roll. And you know what? I may, if I'm going to stream again tomorrow, I may run to the store and get some actual masking tape, because this tape is ridiculous. Even with the double layers, it's still letting go. I might ask my dad if he has any. Hey, Dad? Yeah. Do you have any good, thick masking tape? Like wide masking tape? Because this painter's tape is not holding this stick. Yeah, it's fine for now. I mean, it'll work. It's just not the best. There we go. All right. So all the hair, dust, and dirt's off. Next, I'm going to take. Oh, you got some. Thanks. No, stop! It can't get in the backing.
Oh, that's right. We're talking about that.
He thinks he's funny. Alright, so now I'm just going to take my batting. Now you notice there are some threads on the batting, so that's perfectly fine. That's the backing of the quilt. So that is perfectly natural. There we go. Now, I'm trying, don't kneel on this. Try to keep it as clean as possible. Now, I'm not worried about the other one. I'm only worried about this one. So what I'm doing right now is I'm smoothing the batting, making sure there are no puckers, there's no folds, there's nothing. It's just a nice, smooth surface. There we go. Once I got my nice, smooth surface, I lay the quilt out. Well, I really did a long one on this one. Oh, that's fine. And then you want to lay the quilt in. You want to smooth the quilt because we want to stretch it and smooth it as much as we can. There we go. Now you notice there's not a single fold, there's no puckers, there's no nothing in it. It's nice and smooth. And now we get the pin. This is the easy part of it. The actual taping, the backing to the floor and all of that, that's the hard part. Because it's lots of bending over, and especially for people like me that are getting old, yeah, I'm going to be sore tomorrow. So, at this point, I want to pin the quilt. There is a quilting adage that you can never have too many pins. So, the more pins, the better. But you have to keep in mind how you're going to quilt it. So, with this, I'm just going to do a general meander. That's it. I'm not going to do anything special. I'm not going to do any designs. Just a general overall meander. So in that case, as long as I have my pins spaced out, it's fine. So what I normally do is space them out in rows so that I can edit the middle here. I'm making it even on both sides. There we are. Now, as I'm pinning it, I'm also smoothing and stretching this top just to make sure that it's as stretched as I can do it with all 3 layers. Now I am also going to start pinning along the borders. So the border is I actually have about a little less than a pinky's width from the edge in, because remember, whenever I do my free motion quilting, I like to go around the border and kind of hold it down so that it doesn't flip over, so that I sew my backing somewhere in the middle. And you notice how the border pins, I'm putting them in a little bit closer together than the pins all through the quilt. And this is because I really want to make sure that border stays down and it's secure. Oh, and talk about the pins. So the pins I'm using, these are specialty quilting pins. They're not regular safety pins. They are actually pins that have a little bit of a curve right here. And what that curve does, it allows me to kind of go down and scoop it up so that I really have all of the layers and I don't have to worry about damaging the floor. The only thing that could possibly damage the floor is the type of tape that you use. And why isn't another song started? That one was a little too close to the edge. Okay, now I don't want to keep going down with the borders because I want to continue down here too, because I want to make sure that the quilt stays flat and stretchy. If I went down the borders, well then what if I smooth the center out and I get some puckers? You don't want to do that. Some people even wait to the very end and then go around and do the border. And that's it. Pinning it, like I said, pinning itself is super easy. Yeah, I was thinking if I do some Splatoon streams, I may keep the scrap fabric up and give away some scrap fabric if I get 5 followers in a Splatoon stream. That would be perfectly fine with me. I'm going to be mailing out the one that I gave a few weeks ago away tomorrow. Yeah, I know this stream's not as exciting as some of the others. But I keep getting asked, how do you pin? How do you do this? How do you do this? So I definitely want to show all steps. Now in the corners, I pulled them a little taut just to make sure that it was nice and stretched. And then now I'm doing the last edge down here. All right, all pinned. All right, now I need to cut around it. So I'm using my favorite Cremor scissors that are super smooth. And I'm leaving about a ½ inch around the edge. And I'm going to cut actually all the way down so that I have that extra. Because at this point, I can now pick this up and get it. Oops. Come on, there we go. And lay it down to the next one. Now, obviously, this one's a little shorter, so it's not as long. There we go. And I'm not going to worry about cutting the rest of that until I finish this one. I only wanted to free the batting. The dog that you hear is my parents' dog that they have for fostering. Annabelle is noisy in the evenings. She actually has an appointment tomorrow to see if she has sight problems, if it's her eyes, or if she's just afraid of the dark kind of thing. Alright, let me take all of these. Yeah, all of this extra black fabric going in the scraps. How do I do the edges yet? Annabelle, stop. Yes, hi Doug, how are you? Yes, we hear the dogs. Doug knows who that is that's doing all the barking. She tried to pull the whole, I want to get you out of the seat so I can take it on me earlier. I should bring it over here. Fantastic. I should bring that over here instead of lean over to read it. That'd be the smart thing to do, wouldn't it? Oops. There you go. Alright, now obviously this is a smaller panel, so it's not going to take as many pins, but I still want to make sure it gets smooth. Now, whenever I quilt this one, because it's a bunch of horses, I'm going to avoid their eyes and I'll avoid their noses. So whenever I go to quilt it, those are the areas that I'll actually completely stay away from. Hey, Two Wolf, how are you today? Aw, look at all the doggies. So after I finish the explanations of how to do the pinning, and I just start some more pinning for the evening, I will talk about all of the lovely things that have been happening the past few days. I've had a very busy few days. And none of it has been sewing. Oh, I really need to move it over here. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that sounds like fun for the weekend. That's awesome. Yeah, if there's delays between responding to the chat, it's because I can't see it all the way over here. And I move around so much whenever I'm doing pinning. I guess I should stick it right there. That would probably be easier than going off to the side. Annabelle hears me talking. I think that's the problem. So she thinks that there's someone else in the room with me that she needs to come and visit. And what I'm doing is I'm pulling and smoothing this panel as I get towards the edges, just to make sure everything gets held in place. Alright, put these pins away. Alright, so everything is pinned. For these two. No, I do not want to go back to New York. What do you mean you want to go back to New York? No. No. New York is stressful and tiring, and it was work. It's not a lot of fun, Doug. Now I wanted to make sure I cut this, because this is a nice piece of fabric. So this way, this fabric here can go into my stash to give away. Yep. Oops. I had 2 pins that apparently were just sitting on there. Alright, next step is to close all these pins. But I'll wait and do that later. No, I should probably just close them now. And let me cut the next one first. Now this is a really big piece of fabric, so that is definitely going in the fabric stash. Yeah, no, for me, I don't like going to New York for vacations. It is too busy, there's too much going on, it's not relaxing at all. I would rather go to Vegas or to a beach where I can just lay around. The only exception is if I head to New York and go to a Broadway play. But that's about it all. That's all I do. Alright, and then once these pins are closed, they're pinned and they're ready to be quilted. Alright, pick up all the trash, and then I will close the pins. Okay, this gets set aside because that'll go on the next one. What I'll do is actually measure out the next 2 off the roll, and then there we go. This is going in the stash. And then whenever I have one left over there and one left over here, that's what I'll do the next 2 then. Oh, because of the Broadway? Yeah, I can see that. I don't know. I'm a city girl. I like cities. But I like to be able to move around in the city and control how I move around in my travel. I cannot drive in New York. It is the only city that I cannot drive in. I can drive in California. I can drive in Toronto. I can drive in DC. But there's something about how jerky people are in New York to where and there's so much traffic and it takes so long to get anywhere. I just can't do it. It's just not worth it. And I like cities. I like visiting cities. I just don't like visiting New York. So it looks like phone signals do not work at all in the convention center at TwitchCon. And it would cost me over $1,000 to. Oh yeah, Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat is one of my favorite musicals. We're gonna love it. So I actually looked into getting a hardwired internet service at TwitchCon. Yeah, a couple $1,000. I can't swing that. So I'm probably gonna have to end up paying for their exhibitor Wi-Fi, which is only a couple hundred, but it may or may not be enough for streaming. So we'll see. We will see. I know I'm planning on streaming at TwitchCon. It's just a matter of, do I have to wait to the evening and stream after the Artist Alley closes? Or am I able to stream while it is? But unless... Oh, yeah, don't yet. Okay. Yeah, no, I understand. I mean, especially because there's certain people that you want to see in there. Like, I was able to see Wicked when it first went on Broadway with all of the amazing, talented, wonderful people that were in the cast. Alright, I think this is done. One done. 6 to go. I had 7 total that I have to pin. Don't know how many I'm going to get done tonight. I try to get done as many as I possibly can. Well, no, see, and that's the thing. It's all the convention center. The convention center itself doesn't care what kind of convention is there. It's all about, just there is a convention there and they're making money off of it. That's it. TwitchCon changes convention centers every year. So the convention center is not going to cater to it. You have conventions like Too Many Games, though, which is in Oaks, Pennsylvania. It's in a smallish convention